Hello YouTube, I'd like to share with you my take on the new Cartier Santos. And when you purchase this watch, you get the typical Cartier box, and inside this box is the watch. Underneath here, you get all the documentation and whatnot. The most important piece that you're going to be getting with this watch is the fact that all of the new Santoses come with a leather strap as well as the bracelet. So this is included in the price, no extra charge, and this is the color that you get. So taking the watch out now. Set that aside. I'll come back to that leather strap. So this is the new iteration of the Santos. I'm not going to get too much into the history of all the iterations that came out, but basically this one compared to the previous one, if you're watching this, you probably already know that it's gone with a much more streamlined design. That's probably the best way to put it. It's actually significantly thinner, and the biggest thing is with the bezel basically streamlining into the bracelet with that design. Basically this design here has basically differentiated itself with the past Santoses, whereas the past Santos is much more squared off. They didn't have the notch here that led into the bracelet, it was just a square. So that's the biggest change in terms of design for the Santos. Apart from the bezel and the case design slimming out into the bracelet, it is, like I said, thinner. There are two sizes. This is the medium size. Now with the medium size, what you're going to get, or I should say not get, is a date. So the medium size, you have no date. And with the large size, or the XL as they call it, you're going to get a date. So depending on what your requirements are or what you prioritize will sort of sway you one towards the other. For myself, I really did not want a date, but at the same time, it had to basically look good on my wrist from my perspective, of course. So if the large one was going to look better, then I wouldn't have mind the date. So I got the medium, and I'm really happy that I did. Everyone in the world, every single Cartier dealer that I went to, and basically every single publication that you're going to read says that the extra large is for men and the medium is for women. So I call BS on that 100% because I don't believe in that at all. I think the medium has a lot more class. It suits this design, it suits the tradition of a Santos, and it suits basically the look of this watch. I think it looks proper in this size. In the extra large, it just looks too beefy and pompous. It's not a watch that's supposed to portray that type of masculinity. It's a very type of feminine type of design from the get-go. So having that extra large just looks a bit pompous, too pompous to me. I'm 183 centimeters, so I'm 6'1" when I'm wearing shoes. So I'm not a small guy, and I have broad shoulders. So for me to wear a medium, and I think it's totally fine, sort of says a lot. Having said that, if you're a larger build than me, and your wrist is just a lot bigger, then perhaps you will have that option to choose the extra large, and that might look better. I understand that at the end of the day, it's personal preference, but what I'm trying to say and nail into the coffin is that everybody and every publication and even the dealers push men to buy the extra large. I don't think that's fair. I think the medium is definitely a great option for men too, and it really looks quite good. So for me, it was a win-win situation because to me the medium looked better, and it has no date. So it was quite easy decision when it comes to sizing. Now, what was difficult for me somewhat was the gold or the all steel version. Now, originally I planned on only going with the steel version, but after wearing it, there was just too much of the same color everywhere. There was not enough depth and dimension in the watch. When you add the gold bezel, it seems like this watch was designed this way. It was designed from the paper that it was going to have a gold bezel. And I don't take that for granted, because a lot of watches, once you add that precious metal to it, it sort of looks gaudy and it looks out of place, and it looks like you're doing it just because you want that precious metal on there. For the Santos, it just looks proper. It looks like it was meant to be there. And I think that speaks volumes and cannot be looked over in the Santos. So with that gold bezel and the gold screws on the bracelet, it's almost perfection to me. Because the dial for the Santos is quite plain. You have a white face, printed Roman numerals, and there's not much else going on. I love the fact that these hands are blue and they're very metallic-y. So in direct sunlight, they just look absolutely gorgeous. If you ever have a chance, make sure you do bring this watch into the sun, because the blue hands just look drop dead gorgeous. In dark light, they look black, but once that light hits it, they look blue. So I think those 4 colors go well with each other, and it really adds that perfect balance of dimension and color and contrast to this watch. And those 4 colors are the gold, the white, the blue, and the black. And if you want, then you can also say the case color too, but the case color, it doesn't really change, and which is why with the all steel, it's just too much. It doesn't break up the watch enough. It's the case and the bezel sort of get merged into one. So for me, it's the gold. I understand that there's quite a premium that you're paying on top, and we all know that that actual dollar figure doesn't ever equate into the actual amount of gold you're getting on the watch, but it's a style thing. So for me, the gold is a must-do for the Santos, regardless of the size that you're purchasing. So apart from the gold, the blue hands, you get the typical signature Cartier sapphire crown here. A great thing about this is that to wind this watch, you legitimately just have to do this. You don't have to pull out. You're winding already, just turning this. Pulling out changes the time, so you can adjust the time like so, but you don't need to pull the crown out to wind. So it's very simple. I wake up, you just wind it, a couple winds, and you're good to go. Now, the other feature that Cartier did with this watch, and I'm very happy that Cartier decided to put that time and research and development in their new watch. All the previous Santoses used outsourced movements. I forget exactly which one, besides their special edition one. So I think the skeleton version and the all black version use an in-house. All the other ones were using a outsourced movement. With all the new Santoses, they're all going to be in-house. So that's one technical advancement in this new model. The other thing that they decided to do in research is this quick release bracelet. It's very, very simple and a pleasure to use when you actually do need to use it. This gray bar here, basically all you need to do is push in. No tools required. You push in with your nail, and it sort of just slides out very, very easily. And when you put it back in, you just line it up. The tolerances are very high, so once you get it in, it's as smooth as butter. The engineering is spot on, and the machining is spot on. I mean, it's impeccable. When it's in there, it feels so good. Even just that action of pulling this out and clipping it back on is super, super nice. So I'm going to take the entire bracelet off now. You see that? Super smooth, super easily. You can see the spring actuation here. When I push, that pops. Sorry, it's going out of focus. There we go. See how that works? And now we have a cool pocket watch. And this is when the strap comes into play. So with the strap, if you want, you can put the strap on for a different occasion. You can change the watch up basically immediately without doing anything. So this comes with the watch, and you just put it in very, very lightly. This snaps in, and the other side, of course, is the same. Ooh. I might have this reversed. Oh no, there we go. Usually it's not that difficult, but yeah, it's a really pleasure using that system. So now you have a leather. Frankly, I've never used the leather strap because I think it looks much better with the bracelet. I feel like it's meant to be used with the bracelet. Of course, it wasn't. As a pilot's watch, it's going to be adjustable to the suit, most likely leather of some sort. But for me, the bracelet looks a lot better. And second of all, I'm in a climate that's very humid, so having leather strap just doesn't make sense to me. So taking that off, very, very simple. I love that mechanism. I'm really glad that Cartier took the time to develop something new and refreshing. Not in the watch world per se, but just for their brand alone, they decided to put that time and money to develop something new. And it's not just a quick change bracelet that's something new as well. Actually, I'm going to leave this off for now. They also have a quick change link system. So you can see on these early links close to the butterfly clasp, there are these little circles. What those are actually pusher pins, and they are activated by spring. So they're sprung loaded. You just push on them with a sharp tool. It actually comes with a tool to do that. It'll spring out, pull it out, disconnect the link, push it back in, and push that spring back in. So you're good, and then you're good to go. So these technical developments that Cartier has done on this watch, again, they didn't have to do that. A lot of watch companies, they release a new model, change a couple things, very minor, and call it a new model. But with Cartier, they actually decided to do a lot of new things with this watch. From the in-house movement, which is totally new, to, of course, the brand new design culture that they decided to put on this watch, to the brand new bracelet quick release system, and the quick change, quick adjustable link system as well. So you're getting so many nice new things with this watch, and I really have to give Cartier full marks on that, because they really didn't have to do that. They could totally take advantage of that luxury watch market and just say, oh, we have a new design. They could have just went with the design and just stuck with that, and didn't have to do anything with the bracelet or quick change that, or giving a strap or easy bracelet, any of that stuff. They could have neglected. They could even not have developed a new in-house movement. But I'm glad that Cartier understood what the market demands are now and listened and came up with this awesome piece that I'm holding now. So that basically does it when it comes to the features of this watch and my take on the medium and the large. I think that it looks great with anything that you wear. Legitimately, you could wear this very down, dressed down if you'd like, or of course this dresses up very, very, very nicely. A big thing that I like about this watch is I always pick a model before a brand. So I really don't care that this is a Cartier per se. If this was a different brand, I would still have bought it because I like the watch, I like the model. But at the same time, I like the history and heritage of this watch. I like that it's a pilot watch. This does not look like any typical pilot watch. If you tell someone that this is a pilot watch, unless they really, really know watches, they're not going to know that this is a pilot watch. This is a pilot watch. This was designed by a pilot and commissioned it to Cartier to make. So I think this is a very unique watch with a unique history. It simply does not look like a typical pilot watch like you would expect from IWC or Omega. Big letters, possibly have some sort of aeronautic type of hand design or whatever. Simply no, this is a square design, and it really has that presence that people that don't know watches don't really understand why, but if you really know, then you know that this is a pilot watch, and I've always wanted a pilot watch in my lineup. So that is my take on the new Cartier Santos. I think this is a really good watch, not going to be a good investment, but I think that if you're looking at getting this watch, make sure you do give yourself the chance to try the gold model on, even if it wasn't really in your plans to. And if you weren't planning on getting a medium as well, I think give it a chance as well. You know, just try them all on and go to the dealer multiple times wearing different attire and see what it all looks like together. I think that the medium really suits this new design language quite well, more so than the large. So that is my review, and I hope you all learned something. If you have any questions, I will try to answer. Leave them down below in the comment section, and thank you for watching.